Hello.
Hello.
Always. Yes, Michelle.
Okay.
Always. Hello, everyone. Hello. We're just going to log in with everybody. We're going to log in with everybody
We're
here.
logging in with everyone.
Hello, Instagram. Let me invite you guys in. Come on, Instagram. Come on in here. All right, let's go over to Facebook. Hey, Facebook. Let's go over to Facebook. Your internet connection was restored. Something, I don't know. Is it going to rain or something? Okay. 3, 2, 1.
There
Facebook.
we go.
Facebook fan group. You are all right. You are on. Wait. Okay, the live is starting now. Okay, Facebook fan group, we are on there. So if something happens in one of these places, we are on everywhere. Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome. This is day 8. Are you feeling great? Yeah. This is day 8. If you're feeling great, let me see you type in day 8.
Day 8.
How do you feel today? We're going to talk about that tomorrow, actually. We're going to go live with some people.
With you.
We're going to do the show tomorrow. And we're going to go live with y'all because we want to know how you guys are feeling on day 8 and 9. I want to know about it all because, Michelle and I, we do this all the time. So
He know how I feel.
If it's your first time, I know, Michelle ready to go. Me too. No, I'm not. I was thinking about going a little longer, actually, because I feel good. I feel good. Oh, wait a minute. Who are we? So, my name is Sean Clark. I am the Vision. And I'm the owner of Double Dutch Aerobics. And who might you be, baby?
I am his wife, Michelle Clark, and I am the other co-owner of Double Dutch Aerobics. And we are the host of the
Jumpin' Juice 10,000. Now, let me tell you. Oh, you want me to tell him? You tell him. All right, I'll do the 10,000. You do Double Dutch Aerobics.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So the Jumpin' Juice 10,000 is a 10-day juice cleanse with 10,000 people juicing around the world at the same darn time. And every day for the 10 days, we go live with someone who's experienced some type of healing through juicing and raw foods and veganism. That's what we're talking about every single day because we want to show you, and even for us too, just hearing these stories, just reiterating how food and what you put in your system matters. Please do not think it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It does matter. It matters. It matters. It matters. And that's what we're talking about today. Michelle, tell them about Double Dutch Aerobics. Today.
Double Dutch Aerobics is the first ever formatted workout class based in Double Dutch, where we teach aerobics moves in the Double Dutch rope. Class is always led by an instructor, either ourselves or a certified Double Dutch Aerobics instructor.
You got to be certified.
So if you want to teach Double Dutch Aerobics, you come and get certified. Come take a class. Everything is on the website, doubledutchaerobics.com.
Also, speaking of Double Dutch Aerobics, that is how you sign up to the email list.
Yes.
Listen, if you are not signed up to the email list, well, what are you still shacking up? Shout out to Latarius.
Yes.
What's the show, man?
Dear Future Wifey.
That's my wife's show.
Yes,
Dear Future Wifey is my wife's show.
I love that show.
No, we love Latarius. We saw him in New Orleans at Essence Fest.
Yeah.
Shout out to Latarius.
And we did the show.
And we did the show, of course. You could check him out. Yeah. Check us out. Check both of us out
on his show.
On his show on YouTube. His show.
Yes.
Dear Future Wife. Okay, so anything else we need to talk about?
No.
Okay, so we're gonna get right into it. But before we get into it, did you know that we produced the perfect Double Dutch ropes? I'm forgetting. Let me tell y'all something. Because they be selling all over the place. Listen, if you ready, somebody got a cookout. Said I know somebody. I should.
I don't know, man.
Is it okay to sing R?
I don't know.
I ain't gonna hold you. I listen to R. Kelly. I'm sorry. But yeah, so we
not in front of me.
Not in front of Michelle.
Sometimes.
It's sometimes. Look at that.
No, this is wrong. Don't get messed up.
So yeah, somebody going to a cookout. Somebody want to teach their kids how to jump Double Dutch?
Yes.
Order the perfect Double Dutch ropes. We've designed literally the perfect Double Dutch ropes. They're perfect for street turning, and they're perfect for trick turning. That's why they are used in all of the Double Dutch competitions. They use our ropes. They literally are the best ropes, and of course we use them. And they last a long time. We have ropes for like 10 years. Also, they do not hurt upon contact. These ropes do not hurt at all. This ain't what you used to. This ain't the
It's
wire
not from
rope.
the AT&T truck. All right.
This ain't the water hose that you've been turning with. Nah, this ain't it. This don't hurt. We teach adults every day, and they got to go to work.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get right into the show. Go ahead, Michelle.
All
I've been
right.
talking
So
too much.
we have a very special guest, and this is a topic that is very special and dear to me specifically.
That's true.
And this person is very special to me as well.
Come on.
You'll see why she's so special.
She good.
So we are
That girl good.
introducing
That girl good.
to our show. It is an honor and a pleasure to introduce
Yeah.
That introduction was everything.
Come on in. Get in here. Get in.
Tina. How you doing?
What's up? I'm here, y'all. I'm doing all right. I got a cold or something going on, but I'm here.
That's
That's
all
what
right.
matters. I'm here.
I'll be back.
Yes.
All right. So, well, hi, Tina. Well, let us introduce Tina to you guys.
Right.
So, in fact, Tina, introduce yourself to them, and then we'll ask our first question. So, who are you?
Okay, so I'm Tina.
We've never
Marie
met you
Fuller.
before.
Okay, so I'm Tina Marie Fuller. Professionally, I am a double certified fibroid and plant-based nutrition coach.
Ooh.
And personally, I'm a wife, and I'm
Come
a
on.
girl on a mission trying to conceive twins at 40 plus.
Come on.
Yes.
Tina, you just inspired me. I want twins too. I always wanted to.
No.
And next week, my wife about to hit the 40 club. I'm telling.
Excuse me.
You are hot. You hot. Don't worry about
it. Listen, what does my mother say? Age is none of your business and none of mine. All right? It's just, yes. Okay, so
we always ask the first question.
The first question that we want to know is, what was your diet like growing up? Like, how did you eat growing up as little girl Tina?
Oh, so in our house, diet-wise, my parents did a good job when it came down to making sure that we had vegetables at every meal in terms of dinner. But we ate all the things that most Black people eat. We ate
Come on.
pork bacon and
Come on.
sausage and chicken and
Oh.
just all the things. But when I was about maybe 14 years old, I remember my parents coming to us and saying, okay, we just watched a Christian documentary with doctors that talked about pork and all of the worms that are in pork. And we have decided that we're not going to eat pork anymore, but we can't make that decision for you guys. So what we are asking for you to do is to watch the video and make your own decision. I watched the video and I stopped eating pork right after watching the video. So I was a teenager who gave up pork. But back to the question, it was like in the morning, there was either oatmeal and some type of sausage or something. Wow. There was cereal. I was addicted to Pop-Tarts. So there was all the Pop-Tarts. Then we said pancakes and waffles. Lunch was whatever lunch was. Dinner was just like what typical Black people eat. All the spaghetti and with the ground beef and turkey and all the barbecue. And my father he made the most amazing collard greens. So it would be a lot of collard greens being made and sweet potatoes and baked whatever the meat was. And that's just how it was. Pizza a lot on Friday, sometimes Chinese food.
Friday,
So
that's right.
just typical.
Wait, everybody ate Chinese food on Friday? Friday, my mother wouldn't cook. She would order out Chinese food or pizza. That's exactly what we did.
You know what's funny? I grew up and I didn't know it was crazy. I grew up, my mother, we were at a restaurant. I think I was like 7 or 8. And she said, we're not eating any more pork or beef. She just said it. And I remember the restaurant. And my dad said, okay, cool. And then we stopped eating pork and beef. We couldn't have whole milk in the house. I couldn't have cereal. Couldn't have ice cream. But I got babysat a lot, right? And my mother, once you babysat me, I could eat whatever you was cooking. So if you ate pork beef, so
that's what we eating today.
Yes. If I was out with a cousin, and because at all my family's house, I ate all the things, we just couldn't have it in the house. Even my dad, I called him eating oxtails outside. I was like, Dad, you're telling me. He ate it outside of the house. But the rule was
in the house.
In the
vicinity of my house.
If y'all want to, go ahead. Eat whatever you want. So I indulged in that stuff even more when I was at someone else's house because it was like, I got to do it crazy. Mm-hmm. But so you grew up having that diet. Were there any effects on your body having that diet. And so when did you transition or realize that something was wrong and that you had to heal, and what was wrong?
As a child, as a teenager, no, I didn't have any inkling that there was anything wrong. My body was always very lean as a teenager. I didn't put on any form of weight. I was a teenage mom, okay? So at 16 years old, when I got pregnant, I was 95 pounds.
What?
Yeah, so I was little. And then I went up to 143 pounds. So I gained almost 50 pounds in one pregnancy. And when I left the hospital, I was down to 120 something pounds. So in about 3 days, I ended up losing about 20 pounds, right? And I stayed at the cusp of about 120 pounds. Now that was like 16, 17, 18. Well, when I was 19 years old, my 2-year-old son got hit and killed by a car, right? And then after that, there was just like all of this uh comfort eating, just trying to sustain. So then there was like all of the restaurants and just all of the overeating and double eating. And honey, there was a muffin top. I was around here like the Michelin girl. So at that point, yes, food was showing me that I was using it the wrong way.
Right.
And what was the result of all of that? What did you what illness, or I guess, how did you end up with fibroids?
Well, so around that time frame, we're talking like 19, 20, 21 years old, 22. I was not diagnosed with fibroids until I was like in my 30s.
Okay.
Right? I don't even think I had fibroids back then, but I do remember going to the doctor. I wish that doctors were just braver.
Ooh.
I remember going to the doctor one day, to my gynecologist, and she nonchalantly told me that I had a cyst, right? But right. And I know what your thoughts are, Michelle. But she wasn't really willing to invest in my health because she had a whorish husband. When I say that, it was because both her and her husband shared the same practice. And he would be like a flirty guy. And I remember going to the doctor that day to just go get my little annual checkup. And he was looking me up and down. And I get back in the room, because I'm about to get a pap smear. And he walks in and he says, Doctor, whatever her name is, I don't remember her name. Dr. Such and Such is busy. I'll be doing your pap smear today. And I said, oh, no.
No, you won't. Oh,
no, you won't.
No, the hell you won't. Not today. Not today.
I was like, well, if she's too busy, I'm going to have to come back. Well, when she came in the room, she walked in the room while he was in the room, and she had an instant attitude. So she was the one who let me know that I had a cyst, right? And then what she did was refer me to another doctor. Now, she was not interested in taking her time and having the conversation with me on the potential things that could cause a cyst, right? She was just like straight, short, to the point. Well, after that, what ended up happening is I go to the next doctor and she's like, yeah, you have a cyst, but it's no big deal. Cysts, they come and go. Had somebody told me then that cysts were a result of something back then in my early 20s, I would have made a lot of changes and I would have never been a woman in my 30s with fibroids.
Now, wait, Tina, I have to tell you, I don't know if you know, but that's my exact story. I don't know if you know that part. When I was 19 or 20, because I was still on my mother's insurance. That's the only reason I remember the age, right? And I was visiting from college and I was getting a checkup and she told me I had cysts. And the reason why I remember it, because I remember being so scared when she said that.
That's okay. Go ahead.
I remember being so scared that she said, you have cysts. And so I was like, oh, and she was like, no, it's okay. It's okay. It goes up and down with your period. It just goes up and down with your period. It's no big deal. And I didn't think about that moment until I got diagnosed with fibroids, until I started learning how to heal them. Because I was like, wow, that was a sign
back then.
And if doctors were brave enough, well, I don't even know if I think they know, but I think they can't do anything until they can do surgery. So I think they literally wait until they can do something. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I think doctors do. If they can't do a surgery, they're like, oh, it's okay. Let's just watch it. You know what they say to people? Let's just watch your fibroid go up and down. But that's literally the same exact thing. Don't worry about it. It goes up and down. And it didn't hit me until I was 30 that was a sign back then. And it's just, oh man, if doctors told women then
Right.
that this is a sign that something that your womb is sick. And so you need to start making adjustments to heal now so that it doesn't go to the next level. But I did not know that about your story, because that's when you said verbatim, I'm just like, oh my God, that's the same exact thing.
And I remember being afraid too, so much so when I left the doctor's office, I went back to my parents' house. And I remember my cousin, who's one of my favorite people on the planet Earth, her name's Tamara Dawn Frazier. And Tamara was at my parents' house. And when I walked in the house, I was crying. And my dad was like, "What's the matter?" And Tamara was looking too. She was like, "What's the matter?" I was like, "I just found that I had cysts." It was very frightening to me to be told that. Right. And then, of course, I let them know that they said that the doctor said it wasn't a big deal. And she sent me to another doctor, but it was a big deal.
It was.
And guys, y'all watching this, it's a big deal. It's a big deal.
It seems like that's a lot of people's story. I remember in high school, girls talking about that.
Sis?
Yes. I remember specifically, I know a person, I can't say her name, but I remember her talking about it, and I remember her saying that it wasn't a big deal. And so now, like, fast forward 20 years later, it's like, oh, snap.
It's a big deal.
It's a big deal. I do.
And so along with the cyst, did you have anything else before you actually got diagnosed? Like, did you, sometimes with fibroids, you know, it comes heavy periods, or I throw up every month, or cramps, or not on time periods. I don't know how to say that, but
like periods.
What is that?
Late periods.
Yes, or irregular, right?
Irregular, right?
Yes, irregular periods. Did you have any other signs besides the cyst that you had, or even a swelling? Sometimes ovulation hurts for some people. People have to go to the bathroom often. Did you have any other signs before you were actually diagnosed besides the cyst that the doctor told you about?
So I have been one of those fortunate people with fibroids, because I've had fibroids 3 different times, right? 3 different rounds of fibroids, and I have never had heavy periods. I only had cramps 1 time. And let me tell you what was interesting. When I went to publish this book, A Bold Perspective, I had got to the end of it about 3 times. And the last time I was like, okay, that's it. I'm done. It's finished. And I prayed and I said, God, if I left anything out, let me know. And it was like a couple of days later, I started experiencing these cramps, but they weren't even related to periods. And I had to go back home at that time. I live in Atlanta, but I'm from Cleveland. I had to go back home to help with my dad, who was battling brain cancer. And I stayed at my sister's house, and I was in so much discomfort. One day I was like, girl, you got to take me to go get some Aleve or something. We went to the store. I never took the Aleves. I'm not really a pill taker. I never took them, but I was like, oh my God, in the book, I never mentioned anything about pain. And the moment I said that, I never experienced another pain ever again. So prior to that, I had never experienced cramps. I did not have heavy periods. I was not experiencing irregular periods or any of the typical things, painful sex, none of the typical things that women have experienced. But what did happen that let me know that I had fibroids is, well, it didn't let me know I had fibroids. It let me know I need to go to the doctor. On a scale of 1 to 10, I had a nagging sensation that was like a 1.5, and it was on the right side of my abdomen. And when I'm feeling that, I was like, well, I guess I need to call the gynecologist. And so I called the gynecologist, went in. I asked for an ultrasound. They gave me an ultrasound, and I got diagnosed with 5 fibroids. The largest one was a plum size, and it was sitting in my right ovary, hence the nagging sensation. Then I had 4 other ones. My doctor, who was a medical doctor, who practiced from a holistic perspective, was like, the fact that you got these fibroids, I know you're dealing with stress, trauma, and you need to change your diet. I walked out of there and I started changing my diet. I walked out of there and I started looking at my life differently than I was in the past, right? And I never experienced that nagging sensation again. So that was really the only thing that I have experienced with fibroids. And I can't even say infertility, even though I'm 10 plus years into infertility. The reason why I can say I don't think it's infertility is because when I didn't have fibroids, I wasn't getting pregnant. When I naturally eliminated all 5 of the fibroids, I didn't get pregnant. When I got another fibroid that I did not know that I had until it came out vaginally, I still didn't get pregnant. Right. When I got the 3rd fibroid, which is pedunculated, meaning it's on the outside of my uterine lining, I had to go in and get a very specific type of imaging from my uterus. And my doctor was like, your uterine lining is to perfection. She was like, this fibroid that's at the top is not stopping any action down here from you getting pregnant. So I guess the only symptom that I have had of fibroids is probably just that nagging sensation that I had that specific time.
That is, I love hearing different people's story because
Mhm.
we're all so different. It's just, yeah, we're just all so different. But
Yeah.
so you didn't have those symptoms, but you did end up having fibroids. So what was the path you took? Because you so not, you rushed through that part, but you healed 5 fibroids. So how did you do that?
Mhm.
I think the biggest thing was, for a long time, I thought it was mostly diet for a very long time, right? And I think my diet did play a big role. But from this perspective, looking back at it, it wasn't just diet. It was also at the same time, because remember, here I am, my only child is deceased. And when my son died, I wasn't able to deal with it. When I say that, I was just like, okay, after this kid's funeral, everybody got to take down his pictures. Don't mention his name to me. We got to act like his life and his death didn't happen. And so here I was with all of this trauma just stored inside of my body, right? And I remember going to the doctor when she diagnosed me with the fibroids, and she was like, girl, she was so dry. She was dry as a biscuit. I will forever be grateful to her, and she'll always be a part of my story, because maybe her dryness and her preciseness about what I need to do with my life snatched up my attention and
Mhm.
made me change. She was just like, clearly you must have a stressful marriage. She seen I had a ring on. Clearly you must have a stressful marriage because you got these fibroids. I was like, no, I don't have no stressful marriage. She was like, are you sure? And I said, yeah, I'm sure. At that time, I didn't identify that my marriage was stressful, but it was parts of my marriage that was stressful. I think a lot of times we are not looking at the other aspects. If somebody not cheating on you and beating you upside the head, we forget to look at communication things.
Right. Yeah.
There's other barriers inside of a marriage that can be extremely stressful to both parties. And we certainly had a lot of that. We had blending of family things, family dynamics that was stressful. And then I was a stylist, hairstylist, and I owned a salon, and having employees is stressful all in itself. But I just thought things and people got on my nerves. I did not identify it as stress. So we probably need to have a real conversation on what's stress, you know? And so here I am, I leave the doctor's office, and I was like, all right, so I got to make some dietary changes. And she ended up, oh, I forgot an important part. She asked me, did I have trauma since I didn't have stress? And I was like, well, yeah, my 2-year-old son was hit and killed by a car, and I haven't figured out how to deal with it. She was like, well, you need to figure out how to deal with that because you're sitting up here with these fibroids. That's exactly what she said and how she said it, because you're sitting up here with these fibroids.
I want to slap her. I don't even know. All right.
And I was just looking like, wow, I just moved 11 hours away because I didn't want anybody to know that story. And now I just opened up and shared with you what I have going on. And your response is so nonchalant to me, is what I was thinking. But at the same time, I was just like, well, okay, I left out of there knowing that I was not ready to deal with that. I'm not ready to deal with the trauma of that, right? But God showed up and made me deal with it.
Come
So
on.
here I was deeply into infertility. When I say deeply into infertility, like right now, in terms of a numeric standpoint, I'm deeper into it. But emotionally, then, I mean, that thing had me wrapped. It had me wrapped like I was in a spider web. And it was so hurtful. It was so stressful. It was so many dynamics to it. We were spending thousands of dollars on getting testing done. Like I had to get 4 HSGs, histocelphenograms. They was $1,500 a piece, $6,000. And the first 3 times I took the test, they couldn't get the results. So it was, and that's
You know money.
no. Because if they go in to do the procedure, and if something is going on where your cervix is not dilating properly and they can't get the fluid through you, they ain't giving you back your money. So I had to just keep paying for tests. It was so much happening at the same time. I was so overwhelmed. And I remember one day I woke up and Rashawn, my husband, had left out for work already. And I sat at the end of my bed and I yelled out, God, you forgot about me. And I said it loud, and it was so many tears. And as I was sitting there, I'm
Whoa.
getting emotional, even going back to that moment. As I'm sitting there on the end of the bed, I saw myself waking up the next morning and not being able to get out of bed. And I had come to the end of myself. And I said, this is it. I understood that that was my last day being sane because it was just all too much. And so, as I'm sitting there, my
Mm.
phone rang, and I look at the phone to see who it is, and it's my Aunt Loretta. And generally, you wouldn't answer a call in that kind of moment.
Right.
But I was like, let me just answer this phone. I answered it, and Auntie Loretta said, Tina, I know you don't know this lady, but I do. And she just called me and said she needs you to call her because God has a word for you. And I said, Auntie Loretta, how you know the word for me? She said, because she described who she's talking about, and it's you. And I didn't want to call this lady because A, I was not in a good mood.
I
B, I knew
know.
her. And
This
C,
ain't
I'm
the
supposed to,
time. This ain't the
yes.
time.
See,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to call a lady in a nursing home on her cell phone. Everything about this is ridiculous. But
Right.
my auntie is kind of pressing. And I knew if I did not call the lady, she was going to keep saying, you need to call the lady. I called the lady. And as soon as I said, hello, I'm Tina, I'm Loretta's niece, she said, baby, God said he has not forgotten about you. He's going to restore you, but first you must share your story. And so what happened after that?
Tina, be quiet.
Whoa.
Oh, I tell no lies about this. And so I'm sitting there, and you would think that I would be excited, but I wasn't. I was mad as hell because I have moved all of this far away. I
Right.
didn't left my city where I live in. Nobody really knows my story. And now you're asking me to share my story. I'm trying my best not to even think about my son, think about the death, think about all of the dynamics surrounding it. I'm trying my best to survive this infertility thing, and you're asking me to be transparent and share the story. I was so mad that I was mourning on the phone, and I was crying so hard that the lady was like, hold up. She started praying. She was like, when she got done praying, she said, wait a minute, let me put my prayer partner on the phone. I'm gonna tell y'all what's so dynamic about this story. She said, let me put my prayer partner on the phone because she want to pray to her roommate. At some point, I got so embarrassed and I got off the phone, but I was so angry with God. I was so angry. Oh, but what I did is the next day I woke up, and instead of laying in the bed depressed, I started thinking. I went back to my earliest memory as a child and I brought it all the way through. I got to the point of being pregnant, and I went through labor, and I went through everything all over again, right? And I spent days just thinking about every single detail of my story. And after I spent days thinking about it, guess what I did? I wrote a book called A Bold Perspective. And here's the part that I really got to tell y'all about. So after I finished publishing this book, I called my auntie and I said, I want to go meet the lady who called me or who that
Right.
day spoke to me. When I went to go meet this lady, she had dementia. She had dementia when she called me or when I called her. It goes to show that God can use
Oh, God.
anything and
Anybody?
anybody to get his
Yeah.
purpose off. She had no idea who I was when I was in that room. She didn't know who my aunt was, but I still was able to give her a hug and tell her thank you. She changed my life. So to ask me, what do I think brought about the change of me being able to shrink those 5 fibroids? I released the trauma.
That's
I
right.
let it out. I let it out. And where did it go? Inside of this book. My diet changed too. But the biggest factor was the trauma that I was just holding on to. And we can't skip that part. We
No, you
can't skip that
can't.
No, you
part.
can't.
You cannot.
You
You
cannot.
can't skip that part. That's the
Yeah.
best
That's
part.
the part. Yeah.
Yeah.
We ain't know he was gonna be on here crying today. I
No.
didn't even know.
No, I did it, Tina. I did it.
Let
I
me go
did it.
ahead and
And I
blow
don't
my
wear makeup,
nose.
but today I am. Today. That is. We need a moment of
I
silence
know.
because
I'm
I'm just.
I'm gonna sit right here.
Hmm,
Won't he do
that
it?
Won't
that
he
I
is
said,
do
a
it?
won't
that is a
won't he do
word.
it?
And,
That's
it,
a
and
word.
that moment changed everything about infertility. Like, think about it. I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed about infertility. My parents didn't know. My auntie didn't know. My
Wow.
sisters didn't know. Like, nobody knew. One sister knew. One sister knew. My cousin Tamara knew. My husband knew. My doctors knew. That was it.
Hmm.
It was like I was a prisoner to this whole thing. I didn't want nobody to know, you know? And published a book, then everybody knew. I was like, God, you sure? But it felt so good coming out that I was like, it must be meant to be. So yeah, so that was the biggest change for me. That was the biggest change initially with those first 5 fibroids.
And then, but you additionally, so when you did that, why did you decide to change your diet? Like,
Because
what
the
made
doctor
you?
told me I needed to. She was
But
like, the fact,
did the doctor tell you what diet?
she was like, she was vague. She was like, the fact that you had these fibroids, you need to change your diet. Instead of eating all the meat that you're eating, you need to look at more plant-based sources. You need to eat more vegetables.
So
That's pretty much what she
who
said.
did you research? Who did you go to find out all of this information?
My mentor initially. She passed away a few years ago in her 90s. So what happened is her
Oh,
name was Miss Olivet. And
come
she's
on,
like,
Miss Olivet.
okay, she's like a grandmother. She's like a grandmother to my husband. And he would always be talking about Miss Olivet. Even while we were dating, he was talking about Miss Olivet. He used to always say, I want you to meet Miss Olivet. Well, honey, I wasn't trying to meet Miss Olivet. For whatever my reasons, I was not trying to meet Miss Olivet because it didn't seem like I wanted to do any of the things that he was talking about that she be talking about. Like I
Right.
was trying to live that type of lifestyle, so I don't have no reason to meet Miss Olivet.
Right.
So when I met Miss Olivet, honey, Miss Olivet, she was so feisty. She was from New Jersey.
Come
And
on.
she was like this little, like maybe 4'9" or something, super bow legged. And she was just so feisty. And when I went to her house, I explained to her that I was trying to get pregnant and I had these fibroids and I was just trying to do all these things. And she was like, well, you need to go on a fast. You need to fast. And she was like, you need to make yourself, she wanted me to just have just a liquid fast for like 28 days, right? And it was a very specific drink. Very specific drink, and it sounded horrible. And that's all she wanted me to have for
What what
28 days.
what was the drink? What
I
was
can't
it? You
tell.
remember?
I can't tell, but it was bitter and it was nasty.
Okay.
I can't
Jack
tell only
Daniels
because
and
I reserve it for my Wombstrong clients. It's a
okay.
part of one of the drinks that we use in the community, and they would kill me. They'd be like, "How you gonna go in there and share that?" So, anyways, but let me just say, it was high in sulfur. It had a lot of sulfur type vegetables in it. So, she wanted me to just do that drink and drink water for 28 days. And at the time, I was a hairstylist, and I would have like all these clients, and I did it for the first 3 days. That third day, I almost fainted at work. And so I had to call her back. Sometimes you need to prepare yourself for a fast. Like if you
Hmm.
coming off eating all the dairy and the chicken and all of the heavy foods and starch and stuff, it could actually work against you to just go straight to something like that. You might need to give yourself a week or two to just prepare your body and start pulling back on certain things, which that's probably what I should have done. But I ain't know. So
Right.
anyways, I called her, let her know I almost fainted at work. And she was like, okay, this is what we gonna do. She like, in the evening, you can have a big old salad. She was like, take your lettuce, put some cucumbers and some tomatoes and some asparagus. I was like, asparagus? You eat asparagus raw? She was like, "Heh, raw. It ain't raw when the good Lord shined his sunshine on it. He cooked it to perfection. You just take it home and overcook it." Like she was that type. And
That's
so I was
right.
still looking like, you put raw asparagus on a salad. Now, FYI, asparagus actually breaks down hard tumors. I didn't know that then.
Oh
I
wow.
even have a book of it here by,
I
I
didn't
don't
know.
know where the book at. I even have a book that I look at sometimes, and it's a book by Helen Kroger. Is her name Helen Kroger? Um,
The
Hannah
fifth
Kroger.
time?
It's by Hannah Kroger, and it's called Cystic Tumors.
Oh,
And
sister.
even in that book, what she did is she researched all, she went like different places around the globe and researched wellness and holistic doctors and what they did to cure their patients of cancer. And in that book, they talk about asparagus being good for hard mass tumors. Right. So Miss Olivet was like, you need to put your asparagus, and she was naming sprouts and microgreens. And I was looking, I said, well, what kind of salad dressing? She said, ain't no salad dressing. She said, you just squeeze some lime on it. And I said, well, some salt too? Nah. She said, what you do with that salt is you either take a bath in it or you throw it back in the ocean. And I was like, honey, this is extreme. This is extreme. And so I started doing the salad for a few days. So I would do the drink in the morning, a bunch of water, and then I started doing the salad. Well, I was still struggling. I was on a struggle bus. I called her back again about a week later, like, okay, we're gonna have to do something else. We gotta improvise again. She was like, okay, so in the morning you can have 1 cup of fruit, but she was specific on the fruit. She was like, it can be melons or either it can be like papaya or pineapple. She was like, but only have 1 cup of the fruit. And so me doing that um for 28 days was actually a great help. It was a great booster in the beginning. So I think in between doing that diet, in between making dietary changes and then jumping over to doing that, and then it was the emotional work that I was doing. It was the release of holding all of this pain from my son's death. And again, I looked up and um fibroids, 5 fibroids, all 5 of them was gone.
Scratching my head.
I know.
Okay.
And
Let me
so
tell y'all
did
this.
you let go? So in terms of also
So
diet changes, did you let
You
go of dairy? Did you let go? Because you said you let go of meat. Did you also let go of dairy? Did you let
I
go?
did. It took me a couple of years to let it all go. So I'm glad you asked that. And if I said that, I need to slow down and just be transparent as to what happened. I didn't let go of meat and dairy right away. But what I did is I pulled back. So if I was eating meat 3 meals a day, right? I said, okay, we only gonna have it 1 meal per day. So that's where I started. And then from 1 meal a day, I was like, okay, I was fine with the other 2 meals. Then we started doing meat 1 meal every other day. And then we looked up and we weren't having it that often. And oddly enough, I let go of dairy before I let go of meat because when I found out that the FDA approves both pus and traces of blood to be inside of dairy because it's impossible to remove it all, I was like, I already got enough problems. The fact I'm sitting up here with infertility lets me know I already got enough problems. And when you think about pus, that's an infection. You don't have pus without
Yeah.
having an infection. And
That's
so
right.
I didn't want to consume infections
Yeah.
or pus or yeah, that was beyond anything that I was prepared to continue to do, but I wasn't sure if I could sustain it. So I said, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna give myself 30 days to not have it and see how I feel, right?
That's right.
And then I'll reevaluate in 30 days. Well, in 30 days, I was still as disgusted about that as I still am even up until today. So I've never had dairy ever since. And it was about the information. The information changed me.
Don't you love that? That's why documentaries are always
Are everything.
amazing because it's full of information that is hidden from us usually.
So how long do you think it took to actually get rid of the fibroids?
Oh, I know the answer to that.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
okay.
I know the answer. It was 9 months because let me tell you, around the time that I discovered that the fibroids were gone. I remember we're doing infertility stuff, right? So there was a lot of going back to the doctors, back and forth, getting blood work done, doing all different types of
Right.
tests. And I remember one point going to get, I told you that I had to get 4 HSGs, histocell penograms. And that's basically a test where they determine if your fallopian tubes are open or closed.
Yep.
And
Oh,
it's
okay.
hard to even know. You have to get that test done. You know, if you're trying, whether you're trying to do art, which is assisted reproductive techniques, or whether you're trying to get pregnant naturally, you need to know if your fallopian tubes are open.
Yep.
That's right.
Because number one, it can cause an ectopic pregnancy. Number two, it can just altogether just block you from getting pregnant. And so one of the third time I got a HSG, oh, that day was so tough. What happened is after me getting the HSG the first time, the doctor could not get the catheter all the way in, right? And so it was just like, okay, it was a bust. We didn't get a result. So he said, okay, I got to refer you to a reproductive endocrinologist. He referred me to this reproductive endocrinologist. I go in to get the same test, and the same thing happens again. She cannot get the catheter all the way in. It's painful. It was a wreck, and I'm like, I was so distraught that I was crying so hard that I asked her, could she go get my husband? Now, you know, you don't generally bring your husband in the back room with you. They had to go get my husband. He was back there trying to console me. I was like, this is too much. We didn't just spend $3,000. This is very uncomfortable. We still don't have a result yet. $3,000. We don't even know if the tubes are blocked or open. So the doctor said, okay, we got to do the test again. She was like, but what I'm going to do this time is I'm going to have you, I'm going to give you a prescription that's going to help. Maybe she did say dilate. Maybe she said soften your cervix. I don't know which one she said, but it definitely dilated my cervix. I remember having to insert that pill. I had the bottle in here a little while ago because I just hired myself a holistic fertility specialist. She's a doctor, and tomorrow is my first appointment with her. So I had to fill out, I know,
Oh.
right? And so today I had to fill out all of the paperwork. And so they asked me about my body when it comes down to have I had any issues with different meds or anything before. So I had to be like, yes, this particular med right here caused me problems. So I had to go and get the bottle. Anyways, it was late and it was an insert. It was a pill and you had to slide it in vaginally. I slid that pill in and I laid down in the bed, and about an hour later I was like, "Ooh." I started having, at first what felt like Braxton Hicks.
Mm.
Within about maybe 2 hours, I was like in full on contractions. I was in so much pain. I was in so much pain that I was rocking and I was moaning, and I would get hot and I would get chills. At one point, I was so cold that my husband had to run a bath, and I could not get out the bed. I was so weak. He had to pick me up and put me in the bathtub. He put
Mm.
me in the bathtub, and I got so hot that I ended up climbing out the tub. And I remember climbing out the tub and flipped on the floor and realized that now I don't remember if I had to do number one or two, whichever one it was. I had to get to the toilet. Got to the toilet, and as I'm using the bathroom, now I'm vomiting. So I'm vomiting and having diarrhea at the exact
What?
same time, and it's back and forth. It was a wreck. And at the same time, I'm still in so much pain. Eventually I get back in the bed, and I'm in so much pain. I didn't get not 1 second of sleep that night. So the next morning my appointment was at like 8 a.m. and I ended up calling the doctor's office at like 7. I said, I can't make it. I'm so weak. I'm so tired. I'm in so much pain. I can barely move. And the receptionist was like, don't waste it. You have to come in. Like, don't waste it. I went in and got the procedure and found out both of my fallopian tubes are blocked. Talking about the devastation. I remember after getting the test done, I was walking in the parking lot to the car, and Rashawn was behind me, and I'm just kind of walking like a deer in headlights. And Rashawn ended up just stopping me, and he just grabbed me and he just held me. And I remember just crying, and it felt like a second death all over again. And I felt like this is just too much. It's too overwhelming.
Right.
Well, that was around the same time that um that the lady had spoke to me about God said he's going to restore you. Well, 9 months later, when I went back to the doctor, my fallopian tubes were open. And the fibroids had shrunk down. Like the largest fibroid was now a size of a cherry. Two of them were gone, and then the other two were the size of beans. So to go from that size down to the other
Oh.
size was 9 months. And then just a few months later, so it wasn't 9 months total. A few months later, then my uterus was clear, and I didn't have any fibroids at all. So I'm gonna say about a year, but it was 9 months initially by the time I got that next ultrasound after the previous HSG. Because I ended up getting the
So
HSG.
you healed two things. You didn't just heal fibroids, you
You.
healed blocked fallopian tubes. Because that's a
Yeah.
separate, sometimes that's something separate that women have. Because you don't have to have blocked fallopian tubes to have fibroids. Like
Correct.
they're not one and the same. So you healed more than fibroids.
Oh yeah. Yep. I guess my story is just deep. Sometimes I think about it and I'm like, I guess I'm just one of those people who got to go through a whole lot because as I'm coaching different women through fibroids, sometimes the conversation is just about if you have fibroids, you have estrogen dominance. That's not always true, right? So it's like I feel like I've been through everything possible. And I think it helps me to be that much better of a coach when working with my customers and clients because there's so many different reasons to have fibroids. But let me tell y'all why I had to get that prescription bottle. So I leave the doctor's office and clearly I'm still in pain, right? I am in pain. And by the way, whatever that pill is called, that's the pill that women use when they are self-aborting. So my body still went through the
Oh,
process of dilating my cervix and pelvic as if it was preparing to go into labor. Okay. I've been in labor before and it was the same kind of pain. And the pain wasn't just one day. It was about a week later, and I was still having the pain. And I would have like these shakes. And I know Sean, like
no,
my husband.
because I saw Michelle go through labor. I'm thinking a week of it.
Yeah. And so it was about a week later, and my husband was like,
Ooh.
Tina, I think we need to go to emergency today.
Yes.
And I was like, I don't want to go to emergency. And he was like, I can't make you go. But if tomorrow, if you are still in pain like this, I don't care what you say, you going to ER.
We going.
So what I ended up doing is I called one of my girlfriends. I hadn't even thought about calling her before. Her name is Dr. Herbert. She was actually one of the doctors that I had review my book before I published it. And she's an ER doctor. And I called her and I explained to her what was going on. And she said, tell me the name of the med. And I told her, and she read a list of all the side effects that something like 1% of the people deal with when they use that pill. I had all of the side effects except for one. And it was about a week later, and I was still experiencing all of the side effects except for one. And I don't remember what the one was, but my body is just sensitive. That part.
This.
Yes, I've been through some things. Let's just say that I've been through some things with this fibroid and infertility thing. It's been some things.
Wow, somebody just said they took the same pill you took. It was further back. They said they took that pill. They said it causes diarrhea. Because when you were like, you wasn't sure if you did number 1 or number 2, somebody said, yeah, it causes
Oh my God.
It causes diarrhea.
So after your healing, because I know how you eat now.
That's actually what I want to know. Not to cut you off.
Go.
Like, what is a day in the life of Tina? Like, what's your diet look like? Like for the day, breakfast, lunch, dinner. Like, what does it look like?
But my question is before that.
Okay.
Why did you decide you had healing a year, right? Within a year. Mm-hmm. So you had let go of dairy. So why did you decide to continue? Because sometime after healing, people go, well, now I could, you know what I'm saying? What decided to make you go or to stay in the vegan life?
I still wasn't.
What made you stay?
Well, I still wasn't pregnant yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like I found out that I had fibroids because I was trying to get pregnant.
That's right.
So I did not accomplish my goal, right? Mm-hmm. And so let me be very clear too, that when I healed my body of fibroids, that first time when I eliminated all 5 of those fibroids, I was not vegan. I was not fully plant-based. I was about 90%. Mm-hmm. And so what I have discovered is even if you are already vegan, even if you are already plant-based, and if you are looking to heal your body of fibroids, you still got to find something different to do. Your body cannot heal in the same thing that it is.
Yes, that's right. Ooh, that's a bar.
That's what we always say. If you continue, even if you get surgery, if you continue doing what you're doing, then the same thing is going to happen.
You're going to get the same results.
To change.
Yes.
And that's why when I hear people's story and they say they do keto first,
right.
I already know that's a good sign because I know that it's a willingness to change. Do you get what I'm saying? You got to try. You got to do something different. You know what I mean?
Good point, Tina.
You got to do something different because whatever environment that your body was in is what caused it in the first place.
Absolutely.
And that's what they don't tell you at doctor. They act like it's good luck, bad luck. Like it's just, you wake up, oh, you got it. Somebody don't. Like it's just like nothing that you can have power over. But you have to change.
You do.
Yeah. You have to change. Mm-hmm. So no, that's just good because people don't.
No, that was really good.
You can't keep. So you weren't 100% vegan.
That was really good.
You had let go of milk, and you were like, like finagling back.
I would have like so I had stopped eating chicken. I stopped eating chicken before I even stopped having dairy. Okay. So I would have turkey maybe once or twice a month and fish maybe like once or twice a month. But we would not eat it inside of our house. We got to the point where we would only eat those type of things outside, and we would have to go somewhere to like Houston's to go get some salmon, or we would go to Yeah Burger when they were still open, and we would get
Yeah,
a
burger.
turkey
That's
burger. So we were very specific about where we would go to get those things. Um, so by the second time when I eliminated that second fibroid that I didn't even know that I had until it came out vaginally in my sleep, um,
oh.
I was not vegan then. I had to think about where I lived. And I was not vegan when that happened. I was still on like my 90-20. And I remember shortly after having that fibroid come out, which was a whole situation, because it startled me. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know what was going on. What the hell is this? What what just happened? I was
Mhm.
shook. I was shook. But check out, it was day 27 of a 28-day detox, and I was utilizing that drink that my mentor told me about. And I was having the salads and my one little cup of fruit. And on day 27, that thing was like, we out of here. We are
Did y'all hear
out
that?
of
I
here.
want to pause that just to let y'all know.
I love that.
She was on day 27 of a detox that she was doing, and that's when the fibroid actually came out vaginally.
Yep, it was all raw. One cup of fruit, one salad, and a gross green drink, and a bunch of water. I was drinking a bunch of water too. Let me not leave the water out. And it came out. And after that, I was like, that's it. I'm going plant-based or I'm going vegan. Actually, it was not a decision. What happened is when we would go out to eat, we wouldn't make it through the meat. We would only make it through our sides. And at that point, I was like, well, that's it.
Oh.
I guess I ain't ordering it no more because we not eating it. And me and my husband both at the same time, we never had a conversation about going vegan. But at the same time, we was just like, it don't make sense to order no more because we're not eating it. We eating the French fries.
Come on. We
We
know.
eating the salads. We
I
eating
know.
the other stuff. So we was like, that's it, right? And I remember being so excited and saying, I'll never have fibroids ever again because I'm not gonna be eating meat. I'm not gonna be eating soy. I'm not gonna be eating the things that cause fibroids. And in 6 months, I grew the biggest fibroid that I had ever had in a vegan dietary lifestyle. It was 13 centimeters, the size of a sweet potato. I couldn't believe it. And so when I scream and tell people that there is a right way and a wrong way to go vegan, I mean that thing. You got to be careful in the order that you eat food. You got to be careful with how you combine foods. You have to be careful. It's so many things you got to be careful for. Because again, I wasn't eating soy. I wasn't out here eating Beyond Burgers and stuff. So I had to really change everything. But guess what I did? I learned. And now I get to teach my customers and clients this. And I get to watch them get out of painful periods and heavy periods and dissolve fibroids naturally by the lessons that I had to learn through my body.
So
And wait, I want people to know. So it's 8:52, and I don't want to cut
that's
you
what I
off.
was about to.
So go to YouTube, and it won't cut off the video, guys, because in 8 minutes it's going to cut off the video.
Instagram was going to kick us off.
Instagram and Facebook is going to kick us off. So go to YouTube, Double Dutch Aerobics TV, and you'll see the live video there. And so we can continue, and you can see the rest of the video.
So it's Double Dutch Aerobics TV, y'all.
Yes, if you want to continue this conversation, go to Double Dutch Aerobics. Oh, okay, right. Double Dutch Aerobics on YouTube, Double Dutch Aerobics TV
All right.
on YouTube, and you'll be able to continue this amazing conversation.
This is so good.
I'm blown away. I'm gonna get a good sleep, honey.
I don't even. I'm just sitting here listening, like this is really good.
I didn't know what the emotion roller coaster. This is mind blown.
So I mean, I guess we could get into that, right? So you're a fibroid and plant-based nutrition coach.
Yes.
And the author of, could you move over a little bit?
Wombstrong. There we go. There we go.
Wombstrong.
Wombstrong.
So tell us about all of it and them crab cakes you be making.
Yes, let me tell you. Tina,
Lord have mercy.
You know what's still my favorite?
Lord have mercy.
The purple. What did we have? Was it purple potatoes?
It was pink. Remember, it was So it was a potato salad, and the color of it was pink. But we did use purple potatoes, and we also used red potatoes in it too. But we put beets in it as well, which is why it made it pink.
It was so good. I still remember it was so good.
Those crab cakes.
Crab cakes is a hit. Now the cool thing is about my cooking.
Wait, hold on. Let me hear what she's saying.
Yeah.
I actually teach cooking classes. I teach virtual cooking classes. So with these classes, I actually like to show people how to make this food. So that way you can make it from your own home. Like sometimes I do pop-ups just to expose people to what I do. But ultimately, I want you to be able to do it in your own household.
When is the potato?
When is the
That's
potato
when
salad cooking class?
I want the potato salad.
I
Come
have to put that
on.
together.
I want the
I have to
potato.
put that together because I'm about to start rolling out some more cooking classes.
No,
Now
you do.
that the Wombstrong protocol is coming to the end, we are at week 10 of a 9-week program. And I told them we just gonna make it 12 weeks. So yeah, so
Oh,
that's coming to an end.
so let them know about your program. And also, of course, we're doing something on September 15th, but that's something separate.
Yeah.
But let them know about your program and who should get into your program and what it's all about.
Yeah, so my program is Wombstrong Protocol. It is a program that helps women with heavy or painful periods and fibroids to naturally heal their bodies. And of course, if you want to avoid those things, because sometimes I have women who join my protocol that don't have fibroids and they don't even have heavy or painful periods, but they want to be in the know of what causes those things so that way they don't have them. And inside of our program, we go through everything. And I don't just teach everything myself. Out of the 12 lessons, I'm usually going to teach 6 of them. We bring in psychotherapists. We bring in fitness people. We bring in, last week we had Dr. Bala come in to talk about the nervous system and how to regulate it and talk about labs and what blood work you should get done. This upcoming Saturday, we're bringing somebody in for a body butter class. So it just goes down. So we teach
I
you.
came before. I was
So
a guest.
we teach you how, right? Michelle was on there before when we were about to enter our water fast. So we just bring in different people to show you how to create the life, how to create a lifestyle so that way you can heal your body naturally. Now with the I believe, and I told my group this, I think this was my last live session. I think that I'm just going to put everything on a course so that way you can just do it at your own pace,
That's smart.
right? Because while I love teaching womb strong work, it requires a lot. It pulls a lot from me because I'm carrying a lot of people during that time frame. So I think in the next season, I really want to focus more on teaching people how to live a healthy plant-based lifestyle and how to live a healthy lifestyle. So that way they don't end up having to be involved in the womb strong work, right? So I think I'm just going to put womb strong protocol on course. So that way I'm just more focused on showing y'all how to cook up delicious meals in y'all kitchen.
You know it.
Now, how can we find all of this? Is there a website or follow you
Well,
on Instagram? What should we do?
I have both. So you can find me on Instagram at Fuller Quest. And you can find me on my website. Or actually, you can find me on Instagram even at Tina Marie Fuller. And then if you go to my website, it is TinaMarieFuller.com. And so generally, like right now, if you just go to my website, what you're going to find is just products. I have a lot of healing products for, I was about to say for women, but men take some of my healing products too. So I have like a purge tea and a nurture tea, which is to support your period. I have Limp C. I told you that I don't know what kind of bug I caught 2 days ago, but I have been sipping on Limp C tea and I am so much better. I'm about 80% better than I was 2 days ago. So, and it's all about boosting your lymphatic system and vitamin C. I have a smoothie powder, which has a bunch of medicinal mushrooms and ashwagandha and just different things to help to relax your nervous system. You know, we be stressing. And so the smoothie powder gonna help you stress, but then also give you minerals in your body. Then I have a tea too. It's actually more of a tonic and it's for inflammation. If you have heavy painful periods, you got to get some of that inflammation out of your body. Sometimes there's little tweaks you can make.
That's right.
Usually with my clients, within the first 30 to 60 days, they come out of heavy and painful periods, even with fibroids. But a lot of it is just like making tweaks to get the inflammation out your body.
That's right.
Yes. Because periods are not supposed to be painful or long at all.
No, and they're not supposed to be heavy either. Because even if you have a short 2-day period and you're going through a pad every hour, that's still too much too.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. At this time, it's like we're in church. At this time.
Yeah.
Listen, if you have any questions or comments here, let me put that there.
And we'll go back on live so they can ask their questions.
Yeah. So guys, on Instagram, we have about a minute. Remember, you can go on YouTube or you could actually go on our Double Dutch Aerobics Double Dutch Aerobics Facebook page. We have
Thank you for having me. This was really good. I needed this.
I love you, Tina.
Oh, please.
I love y'all too.
Thank you for coming on. What are you talking about? You got to say yes.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. And I have to tell them about the event. We're having an event. I'm having an event. Tina is a guest on September 15th. Oh, my God.
She's getting her cards.
Oh, my Jesus. Oh, look.
There it is.
Don't mind me.
Girl, get your life.
Look.
Girl, get your life.
Oh, you can't see it from here. On September 15th, we are talking to 4 women. I'm one of the 4 women who healed from fibroids, all in different ways.
Move it over, get in front.
Sorry.
Next time we'll pull it up.
Yes, that will make a lot more sense. This is a little ghetto, but it's all right. Y'all get it. Yeah.
I get it.
Y'all get it. Yeah.
All right. So look, listen, if you guys have any questions, y'all go ahead and follow Tina here. Let me put it in. Let me just hold on, y'all.
And that's how I met Tina.
I'm gonna do Tina Marie Fuller.
We were on the talking one.
On IG, right?
No, not IG. What's the talking one, Tina, that got popular for it got real popular. Clubhouse. Thank you very much. On Clubhouse. And it was just,
I remember that.
It was just easy. It's like I knew you before.
Yeah, it was easy.
Yeah.
Michelle was amazing on Clubhouse. I'm gonna tell you why.
Did I do this right? I'm sorry.
Yes.
On IG? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Michelle was amazing on Clubhouse, and this is why. When I discovered Michelle on Clubhouse, it was at the time where nobody was running the questions and the stage and everything all by themselves. It was like people had a team. Mm-hmm. And when I got on there and seen Michelle, I was like, she doing everything. So not only were you having amazing conversations, but you were literally doing everything when everybody else felt like they needed to have other people to do other things in it. So
that's
you
so
did
funny because I didn't even know that. Like I thought people was, I don't even, because we're entrepreneurs. I think when you're an entrepreneur, except for when I hear corporate people talking, they tell me their job. I'm like, oh my God, that's a whole job.
Right. Y'all do one thing like the whole day? Wow.
And I'll be like, babe, we doing too much.
Just
somebody's job to do customer service. We do.
I was just saying that today. Our day started like 6 in the morning and we're still
5:15. I went to work out.
And we're still working. We're still
right.
It don't stop.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but
taught class. We did an event today. Got the kid. It was just.
And I didn't even know to even have somebody else to do anything. Does that make sense? I just thought, well, you press a button and you can do it.
Oh, you did that thing, honey. You did that.
I didn't know that. I
didn't know that either.
Wait,
I just found that out just now this second.
Wait. There's a team. There was a team.
People always did it with somebody else, or did I? Just
like a moderator?
Because right. One person to be moderating, another person would be controlling who get to come up on the stage. Like it was people were using teams to do all that. But Michelle did it all. She did everything all by herself.
That's not good, Tina. That's not good.
Actually, it was.
Well, yes. Well, it made me meet you, so it was meant to be. But I didn't know. I didn't.
It's the only thing we know.
It's the only thing we know.
It's the only thing.
Mm-hmm. That's why my neck hurt now. I do it all.
All right. So look, listen. If you guys got some good information from this live, go get it. You can go.
But talk, because they're gonna talk.
I know. They're gonna start. They're gonna.
So we have our kids come and say goodnight.
They're gonna come. They're gonna come in and take over.
Yeah.
They're their mother's children.
Yeah.
No, seriously. If you guys got some good information today, let me see you type in 10K. I'm sorry. I'm from Brooklyn. That's what we do. So Tina,
beautiful.
We got so many gems from this conversation. This was amazing. This took us through all kinds of emotions. Oh man.
I don't think we left room for questions. I think every question got answered.
I love it.
Don't bring me if you want me to be vague, because I'm gonna tell. I'm gonna put it all out there.
No, but Tina always makes me feel guilty. I'm gonna call the kids, but Tina always makes me feel guilty because your shirt, looking like you look like I look like my decisions, or I look like my decision. That is me to a T. Like when I juice, I look like I'm juicing. But then when I'm acting inappropriate, then you can see it. And I can see it on my face. I can see it in my body. I can see it in my shorts. I can see it in my emotions, everything. So it's just like literally when I saw that shirt, it's like a guilt came over me because I'm a roller coaster. You know what I'm saying? I'm a roller coaster person. I want to stop, but my birthday's next month, so that might be the last roller coaster that I get on.
You know,
and
what,
it's my
wait, and then it's our anniversary, and then it's my birthday.
No, I said August. August, I always act a little crazy, but I really want to stop roller coastering.
I'm sorry,
but I think it's parasites. They say I never did a parasite cleanse. Where's Maverick?
Maverick.
Oh, look at the family.
They
come downstairs, money. 1 second. Okay, he says 1 second.
He says 1 second, like he's grown.
I don't know who you think you are.
All right, so we're just gonna say good night, guys. We see you.
You are welcome.
Oh no, we're traveling. I'm gonna see you somewhere somehow before, and especially if you're doing that potato.
Especially the part about releasing trauma to help heal. That's serious.
And that's the part we don't talk about either. That needs to be talked about.
Yes,
it needs to be talked about.
Let me tell you how important that is. So in my group, we meet every Sunday. We have a lesson on Wednesdays and we meet on Sundays. And so this Sunday, I asked my group, like, okay, if you're actually doing the work, you should be experiencing changes, right? You should experience changes. And so I asked them, what are some of the changes that you are experiencing? One of the ladies was like, I have completely lost the desire to argue with people. She's like, she was like, my life has calmed down so much, like, I'm not arguing with anybody anymore. She was like, because I usually be trying to argue with people. That right there is such a big deal. Yeah, it's hard to heal when you constantly angry. Like if you an angry person, you about to keep everything you got that's wrong with you. You know?
That's right.
Yeah. And it's 2 things I learned to teach my children, that your power is your joy. So don't let anyone take your power.
I love that.
That just stings, because that's what, like, as adults too, as soon as you let somebody make you mad, as soon as you let somebody get that out of you, they've taken your power. Your power is your joy. And the other thing is the 4 agreements. The book helped me. It's just like that little key of not taking it personal. One of the 4 agreements is just like, it's not, when someone is doing something to you, 99% of the time, it's not really about you. Come here. If you don't take it personal, you could just, you know what I'm saying? You could let it ride.
I feel like I've been like that all my life.
Oh yeah, he's
like,
he's more, he don't stress like the way I do.
Not at all. Somebody said, how do you know when to break your water fast?
Oh, asking me.
Or whoever.
I knew, because I was about to faint. And my husband said, Michelle, you need to stop. And so I stopped.
You don't want to pass out at work.
Yeah, we were working. All right, everybody say good night. Phoenix.
Good night. Come on. We got
it. Good night.
Make it do what it do, baby.
All right.
I know, because you're getting heavy.
See you later
at the Wild Crocodile.
Mavi, what do you say? Like and subscribe. Good job.
Bye. All right. Good night.
All right,
love you, Tina.
Thank you, Tina.
Love you guys too.
We love you.
Bye. Love you too.
Bye, guys. Like and subscribe. That's right, Sasha. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye.
Adios. Hasta luego.
See?
Goodbye.
Oh, day 8.
Hey.
Day 8.
And I'm feeling
we go to bed and it's day 9.